Episode 9 is said to have many different twists and turns, as well as surprises in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing in this movie is exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize all of the different connections to not just the prequels, but also to the original trilogy in this story that will be used in a way in order to evolve the characters of Rey, Kylo Ren, and more from start to finish of this movie. Now, what's really interesting about this film is that a lot of people have been wondering about the character of Han Solo and his involvement in Episode 9 as a character. And when it all comes down to Harrison Ford, what's really upsetting is that, well, it's actually described that one of the scenes planned for the reshoots during the months of April until June of 2019 involves a scene featuring a flashback for Han Solo. It's described that for weeks, negotiations were happening for Harrison Ford's physical return on set, as well as delivering new dialogue for one of the reshoots during the month of May that included a Han Solo flashback scene with Luke and a young Ben Solo. However, it's described that Harrison will not be returning for the reshoots of the scene and will also not be delivering new dialogue. It's unclear if this was a decision between both Kathleen Kennedy and JJ, or if this was decided by Harrison Ford himself. However, Disney will be using unused footage still of Harrison Ford as Han Solo from past Star Wars movies in the originals, and in, of course, The Force Awakens. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this and as to why I think that they really should get Harrison Ford back on set for Episode 9. Like I say, it's unclear on whether or not if this was decided by Harrison Ford, or if this was a decision between JJ, Kathleen Kennedy, and of course the entire crew that works on Episode 9, or whoever has, the call in order to make these certain decisions. So when we look at Episode 9, we do know that there will be a significant amount of flashback sequences in this movie. In case you guys did not hear this, Billie Lourd is actually going to be used as a stand-in for some of the young Leia flashback scenes where she will be interacting with a younger version of Luke Skywalker in this movie. But I digress. When it comes to Harrison Ford as Han Solo, I will say that Han Solo is by far one of my favorite characters in pop culture. He's pretty much up there with Luke Skywalker, Indiana Jones, and stuff like that. So when we look at Star Wars Episode 9, we do know that this movie really is going to end the Skywalker saga on a good note and in a satisfying way, according to JJ. So I think that what they really should do is that they should somehow, create a storyline where they're able to get Harrison Ford back on track. Let's say, for example, if this decision was made by Harrison Ford, which is believable because we do know that ever since his death in The Force Awakens, he wanted nothing to do with Star Wars ever again, and that's one of the main reasons as to why we witnessed the death of Han Solo. It was because of Harrison Ford. He actually wanted his character to die. And that's something that he actually wanted to have in Return of the Jedi, in case you guys did not know. So, moving past all of this into Star Wars Episode 9, this scene in particular is still actually being worked on, but it will be reshot during the month of May, while reshoots start at the very end of April, by the way, until sometime in June of 2019 this year. So, for roughly 3 months, there will be reshoots on and off for Star Wars Episode 9 for some of the cockpit sequences in space, as well as some of the major sequences involving some of the flashbacks and other sequences in present time. So Harrison Ford not delivering dialogue or not being physically on set, I think is only going to make the job harder in order to make this scene come into fruition correctly, where it'll be seamless and pretty much, not, a little too hard to do. But I think that if they could do this properly, as long as they are able to make it like seamless or something like that, I think then and only then they will be able to really, capture the audience and really make them get sucked into the scene. Because we do know that they are using unused footage from, of course, The Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi, and other Star Wars movies, including Harrison Ford. So with that being said, what do you think about Harrison Ford not going physically on set and not delivering brand new dialogue for this movie, regardless of the negotiations that were happening for weeks as we have been going over? And I will say that, we still are going to be getting Han Solo to some extent in this movie by Harrison Ford through the use of unused footage, but it's not going to be the Harrison Ford, that we actually know of, that's actually the actual actor on set. It would have felt more true, at least to me as a Star Wars fan, knowing that Harrison Ford was actually there, acting with the actors such as Mark Hamill and the unnamed young actor portraying a younger version of Ben Solo in this movie. And I think it really does raise a question right now on whether or not Harrison Ford will appear at Star Wars Celebration Chicago, which is going to start on April 11th, and I believe it ends on the 15th or 16th of this month. So, I'm not quite sure if we even heard about Harrison Ford being, or making an appearance at Star Wars Celebration. Hopefully he does, though, at the very least. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.